I know it's a cliche to say this, but like, what can I even say about this game that has not been said in 14 years? It was really hard to put into words how impactful this game is. You all know Mario Galaxy, top 10 rated game on Metacritic, not that it matters much but goes to show how popular it is, one of the most beloved adventures in Mario's history and platforming in general, critically successful, it even led to a sequel, my personal favorite at least, and the desire of a threequel which... yeah, it's not happening, poor one for Galaxy 3 boys. Such a successful game all around. It surely matters nowadays too, right? Well, of course it does. Regardless of the Galaxy series ending with just 2 games, Mario Galaxy's legacy is present in not only Mario games, but platforming in general. Today we're going to talk about how and why Mario Galaxy is such an incredible experience. And also why Mario Galaxy is such an impactful experience in both the Mario franchise and gaming in general. That last bit I'll do it by just talking the game itself. I will let the game do the talking and showcase its impact and design. Before we start, however, this video is sponsored by... nah. nah. Not yet. Before we start, some history, if you don't mind me. Also, I will be referring to the game as Mario Galaxy, you probably noticed already, instead of Super Mario Galaxy. Sorry if that bothers you, as well as for the predecessors, you know, Mario 64 or just 64 or just Sunshine, so sorry. Mario Galaxy was developed by the same team that created Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Mentioning Donkey Kong in his 40th anniversary without any expectation for him in this series, it's very sad, you know. Anyway, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat is a 2D platformer in which you control the good old monkey and traverse through huge levels, punching and destroying enemies. The quirk about this game was its control scheme. Monkey Dong was controlled with the DK bongos, a GameCube accessory that allowed you to control the character by making bongo motions. Hit the bongos, you jump. Hit bongos to the sides, you move to the sides. Very innovative stuff, to be honest. Classic Nintendo quirks that, at least for me, they aren't really replicated nowadays, especially considering Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Nothing much is that, in my opinion. But why does this matter, you might be wondering? But it's Donkey Kong and Mario, who cares? Well, my kind viewer, as you might know, Mario Galaxy isn't exactly controlled like your typical 3D platformer. Until Super Mario 3D All-Stars released. Mario Galaxy was developed with the Wiimote and the nunchakus in mind. The Wii was Motion Control City, so the big mainline Mario game had to include them, of course. The team that developed Mario Galaxy was composed of the same team that created Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, so they were very much used to interesting control schemes, let's say. Combine that with the history of 3D Mario and it isn't exactly surprising why Mario Galaxy turned out the way it did. In terms of Mario's previous history, Galaxy takes a lot from 64 and Sunshine, but more so 64 especially, I've noticed. Which is the better choice if you ask me. Development started with 64 in mind, with a Hubworld and collecting stars being key once again. Yes, we will talk more about this throughout the video, but for now, keep in mind 64 especially was very important in development. Very early development. Another interesting concept which ended up influencing Galaxy significantly was Mario 128, a tech demo for the GameCube in which you control 128 Marios. Kinda looks like Pikmin the more I think about it. The main influence for Galaxy was the spherical level design. You can see in this demo footage how the Marios run around the spherical terrain and defying physics, which Galaxy took and basically adopted as a core feature. However, spherical designs and defying gravity makes it hard to jump on enemies. Hell, even in typical 3D planes, jumping on enemies can be a difficulty. Which is why Mario 64 had punch, kicks, dives, and Sonic, for example, has the homing attack. To solve this issue, both in terms of spherical design and 3D design in general, the team came up with the now iconic spin attack. I personally have no issue with jumping on enemies in a 3D world, but the spin attack is definitely helpful. With the history lesson done, let's get into how well designed this is. As I mentioned, I will talk about the game and let it do the impactful part of the talk. So let's begin right into the game design. Wait, what? What do you mean, what about the story? You're telling me there is actual lore in this game? But it's a Mario game. But there can't be story in a Mario game. Fine, I'll talk about it just for a little bit. Following Sunshine's...
You again? Don't you ever give up?
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
Interesting attempts at a story, Galaxy decides to have a simple story. Bowser kidnaps Peach and wants to rule the universe, and you help Rosalina and the Lumas that have been stranded by Bowser. Who are Rosalina and these Lumas though? Well, they decided to put lore in an optional room, the library. In the library, Rosalina, the main assistant in the game, narrates her story. She narrates where she lived, how she met the Lumas that you see all over the Hubworld, and especially the Luma that helps you do the spin attack. To be completely honest, Rosalina is one of my favorite Mario characters. She has an actual backstory. A bit tragic too. She's kind and all-powerful, she cares for the whole universe. She's pretty chill in my opinion. Also, she addresses Peach as Mario's special one, a detail that I really like. Not to worry though, she's not the only one that gets some character treatment. Let's talk about the Bowsman. After his controversial voice acting, Sunshine, what the hell are you? Bowser actually starts to show his modern characterization through this game. This goofy, expressive animal, I suppose. Bowser was never really a threat, and to be honest I doubt he will ever be. Therefore I think giving him some character is actually a better choice than to make him a threatening villain. This game, alongside the Paper Mario series and the Mario and Luigi series, they really helped to develop Mario's cast, and Galaxy is definitely one of the pillars in terms of character. It's nothing deep, of course. Don't expect the level of characterization he gets in Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi, but it helps these characters. It makes them more iconic, it makes them more recognizable, more unique. Rosalina isn't just grrr, tall princess, she's actually very different from Peach and Daisy. And the Bowsman, being more expressive, it gives this feeling of looking forward to meet him again, to fight him again. How will Bowser react to this? What is Bowser doing now? It makes him interesting, it's fun to see him, it's fun to challenge him. Again, it's nothing deep, but this is a Mario game after all. Even then, it is a very nice extra mile that they give these two specific characters some personality. It is very appreciated. Galaxy was definitely one of the core games that defined Bowser's personality in future mainline Mario games, like 3D World and Odyssey. His character fits more with Galaxy than 64 Sunshine, for example. Rosalina became a mainstay thanks to Galaxy. Most Mario-related spin-offs have her now, because of how unique she is. Her background is intriguing, her importance to Galaxy is very interesting, and her otherworldly nature is very much appreciated compared to the more grounded princesses in the franchise. Let's get into the important stuff when it comes to a Mario game, shall we? Because Mario games having no plot is... yeah, they're Mario games. Which goes to show how important Galaxy is, because it actually gives some character to the new and the old villain. By new I meant the new character. I'm not good with English, you know. So, like I said earlier, Mario Galaxy takes a lot of cues from its two predecessors, being Mario 64 and Sunshine. Once again, however, I must focus on the fact that it takes most of its cues from Super Mario 64. I don't know if Sunshine was controversial at the time it was released. It sort of is nowadays from what I got to see anyway. But the developer team definitely preferred 64 over Sunshine when it came to taking from the previous 3D adventures. Let's start simple and talk about the Italian pasta boy himself. Mario's 3D moveset started all the way back in Mario 64 and then... continued in Sunshine. I was going to say evolved, but they removed the long jump, so no. I like the long jump, so Sunshine's bad. Galaxy has a sort of in-between moveset. It takes several moves that started in Mario 64. Long jump, triple jump, side jump, wall jump, ground pound, somersault, jumps. Sunshine removed long jumps and somersaults, probably to fit Flood's design. To be fair to Sunshine, Flood does allow for crazy movement options. And it sort of satisfies the need for these two moves. You get the distance with Flood that you get with the long jump, and the height with Flood too. Galaxy returns to the Mario 64 moveset, except for diving, that's just gone. The dive has been replaced by the spin attack actually. The spin attack, provided by this cute little Luma, is the new Flood. Flood used to be a Sunshine core feature which allowed for more complicated platforming and different levels of exploration. You messed up a jump? Use Flood and maybe you can save yourself. Flood and its upgrades were a great mechanic. They allowed for loads of versatility and exploration in the expansive Sunshine levels and Delfino Plaza itself. Wait a minute, was that me just praising Sunshine? No! Bad praising Sunshine, no! Anyway, Galaxy takes the 64 moveset I described, combines it with a Flood-like mechanic, this being the spin attack, and the combination is just... it's beautiful, it just made one of the best controlling Marios ever made. You might think me saying Flood is anywhere comparable to Luma is a bit of a stretch, and I would understand that. However, let me explain my reasoning first before you type in the comments how you subscribe to the channel, how you like the video, and why am I correct. As I explained, Flood was key in Sunshine in terms of platforming, exploration, and control. The spin attack was added to make it easier to kill enemies, given how in the spherical design, which we will talk about it later, don't you worry, and 3D design could be complicated to just jump on enemies. Did I talk about this already? I think I did. Anyway, given Galaxy's design, the spin attack fits perfectly in every single way. It makes sense lore-wise given Rosalina's involvement, it makes sense game design-wise given how the spin attack is an amazingly useful alternative to jumping on enemies, or it can even assist you on jumping on enemies. By performing a spin attack in the air and ground pounding while the spin attack is out, you perform a homing ground pound of sorts. Meaning you will ground pound the nearest enemy with no fault. Very useful for enemies that don't die to a spin attack. Don't get me wrong, jumping works perfectly fine like it did in 64 and Sunshine, but the spin attack can sometimes be a better option. You got these spinny enemies thingies, for example. The spin attack is crucial here, just like Flood was crucial back in Sunshine for enemies and certain boss fights. However, that's not everything. I get that the spin attack's core idea is to use it as an attack. It is a spin attack after all, but if you ask me, it's also a great movement feature. Scratch that, it's a better correction tool than an attack. Than an attack. Just like Flood, the spin attack can help you in platforming, not to the same degree of course, but it definitely can save you in a pinch. It even allows for some very entertaining skips, trying out daring jumps and certain challenges that the player might impose on themselves. Combine the spin attack with Mario's core moveset and you get some greatly entertaining results once you get the hang of it, making the spin attack a great addition. It assists casual newcomers to the franchise, and it also assists with its very unique, very different level design. However, for the more experienced players, it provides a lot of tools and opportunities to traverse the levels and overcome different challenges in different ways. Through this mix of Mario's 3D moveset with the Galaxy moveset, I can confidently say Mario transcended into a different realm in terms of control and movement. It changed the series by giving 3D Mario a different move in each game, a new feature, a new gimmick, and making it flow naturally into the level design. In my opinion, it perfected Mario's control. Mario is fluid, Mario does what you command him to do. Something that in 64 and even in Sunshine it was a bit rougher. It was a bit harder to control back then, but with Galaxy, it just works. Mario controls perfectly. Mario's simple moveset can actually lead to complex, crazy entertaining situations, which is something the Mario franchise has followed since. Take something like Mario 3D World. The gimmick added to Mario's core moveset was Powerups, crossing over the 2D and 3D gameplay. Odyssey has choppy and an expanded moveset for 3D Mario at its core. Both of these happened thanks to Galaxy doing this. That's how Galaxy impacted Mario's design as a playable character. What about 3D Land, you say? I don't know, who remembers 3D Land anyway? Go away! Speaking of power-ups, they make their triumphant return to the franchise. First time some of these saw their 3D plane for the first time. Well, yes, that's what first time means, fam. Yes. Sure, there were power-ups in 64 and Sunshine, but they were new and original. They are in Galaxy too, like some power-ups are actually original and they never existed before. But we also see the return of the Fire Flower, for example, so these power-ups feel more traditional, more fitting to Mario's 2D roots compared to FLUDD or the different caps you can get in 64. Although I would actually really like to see those in a 2D plane, that would be very, very cool. The power-ups in this game sadly are very, very contextual and situational. In something like the 2D games or Super Mario 3D Land and World, power-ups are a benefit. Power-ups are something you don't need, but you can have an easier time completing levels. In Galaxy, sadly, you need to use the power-ups to finish the level, which removes some of the choice in how to finish a level, which is also present in most of the levels in this game, which is something that I will talk about later, don't you worry. However, I can't deny it's very charming to finally see the more traditional power-ups in 3D Mario, and I will say it was the rough start to bring them into a 3D plane, which was definitely better executed in something like Super Mario 3D World, and even better in Bowser's Fury. We are not done though with control. Another key element to control in this game is a particular level's gimmick, let's say. Something like riding a ball, floating in space, floating inside a bubble, those sort of things. These situations feature the Wiimote front and center, be it pointer or motion controls. These ones are a bit more iffy. They aren't particularly long and they can be definitely avoided, but the motion rolling balls particularly are a bit complicated to control at times. Particularly using the pointer to collect star bits at the same time that you are using the motion to control the ball. The pointer is used very well actually. It's mostly a timing scenario. Avoid spikes and go kind of deal, react. It works well enough. The motion controls definitely hit the hardest though. They're still good in the ball rolling levels, don't get me wrong, it's just... they can get a bit iffy, so they're a bit harder to control in those places. However, when we go to motion controls in terms of Mario's core moveset, this being the spin attack, it's just amazing. It just works excellent, there is no flaw. Mario Galaxy has amazing motion controls when you're playing as Mario alone. The rest is fine, maybe it gets a bit clunky, but shaking for the spin attack is so seamless, it's not a problem at all. You barely remember you're shaking the controller, it's really good actually. The Wii was a bit infamous for its over-reliance on motion controls, but Mario Galaxy was definitely on the positive side of motion controls. I talked a teeny tiny small, very minuscule amount about the level design before this section, but time to go in depth, you know? So, 64 and Sunshine had big worlds, big expansive open worlds, and they allowed for a lot of exploration to find the collectibles in each game. You get to explore this whole level trying to search for that star or shine, and with Mario's moves, exploration is very enjoyable and very well crafted. And it allows you to take in and get used to the world you just landed in. Here is where Galaxy's most impactful and noticeable change in the 3D Mario era comes in. At the time, anyway. Mario Galaxy's levels are mostly linear. Go from A to B. That doesn't mean you can't explore these levels, don't worry. You definitely can, and you find secret areas with star bits or coins. What matters most, however, in this exploration is secret stars. Depending on the course, you can find a different star outside of the one defined linear path. Instead of going from A to B, you can find a chest or something, and you will find a different star. This star tends to be found by doing a small task which is not connected at all with the main star path. Something small like breaking a chest, hitting a certain enemy, catching a certain amount of coins, going somewhere else in the level, and so on. In very specific levels, mostly related to the side levels in the game, you can find green stars, which contribute to special stages at the very end of the game, which allows you to reach 100% completion. Which in itself is something I will talk about a little bit later. Give me like, I don't know, 20 minutes? Maybe? Description, timestamps. To get a bit more in depth and not jumping around here and there, I'll take a level from the game itself. Most people will probably use Honey Hive Galaxy, Good Egg Galaxy, Gusty Garden Galaxy, but let's break the mold, you know? I shall take a level you reach mid-game? Kinda? Yeah, mid-game sounds alright. Beach Ball Galaxy. To be completely honest, this is one of the most condensed and small levels in the entire game. But it still carries the rest of the game's philosophy, so it will be wonderful for this assessment. The first and only star available once you unlock Beach Ball Galaxy consists of a small exploration game. Get into this swimming pool, find the star launcher parts to access the rest of the level. In theory, you could access the rest of the level without this launch star. I was not able to do it myself, but I do think you can reach this upper area just with Mario's moves. Some well-placed triple jumps here and there, some well-placed wall jumps here and there, just like Mario 64, and the added height from the Galaxy Spin, and I do think you can reach this area. Give it a try if you can, and let me know please. Now, that method is obviously hard, but it also adds choice to the player, even if you can't do it in this level. You definitely can in other levels. Linear as this game is, the courses that allow for exploration really allow for exploration. They really reward the player in different ways, both in terms of progression, like stars as I have mentioned, or just with the satisfaction of pulling something off like this. Come on, this is very cool, you can't tell me it's not. Anyways, once you reach this upper area, the game requires you to execute platforming under a certain time limit. Or just ignore the platforms and play some good wall jumps like I did here. Your choice. Choice. Choice in a linear environment. Just like the 2D Mario games let you choose and find different ways to finish levels. That's very cool to be honest. A nice merge between 3D and 2D. Anyway, 1 star's done. Star 2 is nothing crazy really, it keeps on track with light exploration and a basic fetch quest to be honest. Nothing groundbreaking, but a different change of pace from the platforming you will definitely do in this game. This star exists to make sure you master the swimming controls. You get used to the different pace Mario has underwater, especially when you add a new boost method underwater thanks to the spin attack. It does cost air though, so be careful with that. Mario had never gone this fast underwater, except you had a shell, so the game clearly wants you to use it, to learn how to use the spin attack underwater, to take advantage from it. And what better way to do it than to bully penguins again? Just like Mario is really used to doing by this point in his career. What is your problem, you mustached Italian Mario piece of shit? After stealing from penguins, Star 3 introduces 2 very interesting ideas to this galaxy. So, you have the main mission, which consists of finding a shell and just breaking into a cave and getting to reach that other part of the galaxy you have been seeing for 2 missions now, but you could never really reach it, you could just see it in the background. You finally get out of the water and play a platforming game. The platforming here is very interesting. Time your movement properly or you die, as well as taking advantage of the anti-gravity mechanic present in the entire game. thus spicing up platforming in a way rarely seen, especially by 2007. I mean, Sonic Adventure 2 tried with mixed results, but Mario Galaxy mixes anti-gravity and platforming expertly, truly telling how creative and talented this team was. Anti-gravity is a very complicated topic to deal with when creating a platformer, due to the fact that your character can lose control fairly easily. When you reach a certain boundary, your character will head that way, messing up cameras, control, positioning, messing up jumps, timing, and so on. Galaxy, however, the best anti-gravity experience I have ever had. It's one of the best anti-gravity experiences, period. The camera is always behind Mario, infinitely better than 64 and Sunshine. The controls are on point, they don't change even though you are literally upside down. This won't confuse the player, it just... I hate myself for this. It just works! Anti-gravity was one of the main focuses in the level, however. And even then we have already seen this in like... the first levels. Dude Galaxy, Honey Hive. The anti-gravity is there too. The second idea, however, combines exploration and platforming the best way in the game. Other levels do it too, but I think this method in particular is the best way to mix them both. The secret star is found by getting another shell and hitting one of these chests. The chests are set up around the level, underwater, on land, whatever you can really reach with a shell on hand. The purpose is clear: open them. Once you figure out you need the shell to open the chests, the player will want to open them all, and get the rewards considering they are literally shining. Star bits are useful for progression and getting new levels, as well as lives, so the reward is satisfying enough inside these chests. Even if there are no star bits, the game itself outlines that there is another star in this particular level, so the player is expecting to find the pathway in one of these chests. Considering you do explore the whole part of the level you have access to and there is nothing else, and it actually is what you end up doing, the star launcher is inside a chest, so it's not really hard to figure out, but rewarding nonetheless. Once you find the secret pathway, you get to see a different part of the galaxy you haven't experienced before. But again, it was always in the background, just like the original third star path. This section continues with the puzzle-like design the first part had. First, find a way to open the chests, find the correct chests, you get to this new area. Now you have to find a way to get to that question mark coin over there. Everything you see at your disposal is a cataquack. For those of you Sunshine players, you know what these dogs do. And for those non-Sunshine players, you know, people that like fun, they will notice they can guide the cataquack wherever they want, which will make it so Mario leads the cataquack to the coin and launches himself up. Once you solve this puzzle, you earn the Ice Flower, a power-up that allows Mario to walk and jump on water, which is what you end up doing, involving platforming, power-ups and puzzles all at once. Finally, the level makes you mix the power-up with the cataquack solution. Make the cataquack walk to this tiny island with limited Ice Flower, and the Ice Flower is also timed, so yeah, get going. I've been talking about this galaxy for a while, and I described each course in this galaxy and its traits, but what's the point here? Well, let's go with the obvious one first. Variety. Instead of giving you one area to run around, explore and find the collectible, Mario Galaxy divides the core galaxy, the core level, and splits it into different bits and different missions. The previous 3D games had missions too, but they were all set up in the same level, the same area. They rarely changed when you got a star, something like Whomp's Fortress in Mario 64. The level's most evident change is after King Whomp. Once you defeat him, a tower spawns in the rest of the missions, and after completing the tower mission, this worthless annoyance of an owl shows up. And that's it, really. In Sunshine, the changes are not really suffered by the level, despite the linear progression present in Sunshine, which is something I will talk about a little bit later. The levels don't change much. A bridge spawns here and there, but that's about it really. The change mostly happens when you finish the entire 7 shines. The true change is in the area already, by accessing the secret doors and leading you to a cappella platforming. Galaxy just changes everything, basically. The level's beginning is the same, but the progression and areas visited in the course are not the same. First mission in the Beach Ball Galaxy has the top of the island, the second level has the water ball, the third area has the platforming section, and the fourth secret area has the puzzle area I described. Galaxy constantly does this. Every area you visit in the same galaxy is different. Every star you pick shall take you to a different area in this galaxy, which makes these levels huge, but you don't visit all of it at once. It is divided in parts according to what mission you do. This adds to variety inside the level itself, inside the galaxy itself. Not to mention the game entirely, which is something the future Mario games do pick up actually. Something like 3D Land or 3D World have regular worlds, but in those worlds the levels are literally anything they come up with. Yeah, throw a circus in the grass world, yeah, sure, why not? Mario Odyssey also uses Galaxy as the base in this aspect, by providing different challenges in the world, changing the world itself, unlocking new areas in the world. That's how Mario Galaxy's level design impacted future games in terms of variety. But no worries, that's far from everything. Yeah, level design is huge in this game as a topic on its own and for platforming in general. It really matters. To my second point as to what the hell I was even talking about during all this, the level design itself. I think I was clear enough during the Beach Ball Galaxy breakdown, but let's expand. Mario Galaxy manages to do what previous 3D Mario games wanted to do, but just couldn't do, due to their collectathon and exploring nature, which works wonderfully in each game, don't get me wrong, but they're definitely different from the 2D Mario roots. Galaxy though... Galaxy gets closer to 2D Mario. Galaxy manages this mix, this blend between 2D and 3D Mario, masterfully, might I add. Galaxy actually does what the developers intended all those years ago with Super Mario 64. Sure, it doesn't have the flagpole at the end, that will take a few more years, but the more linear-like design, the different bits in a level you reach through door transitions, except now there are launch stars, going from point A to B with the usage of power-ups. Galaxy managed to do the 2D to 3D transition that 64 intended, while adapting what 64 actually ended up being, which is honestly the best crossover between the different Marios. Do you like 2D Mario? Well, actually Galaxy is for you too, it does have a lot of 2D elements. Do you like 3D Mario? Well, I think it's obvious that the game has 3D. I think it's very telling, but, you know, that's not enough. Let's get into more detail. You can always do more. Let's look at the level design itself. I did this a bit with the Beach Ball Galaxy section, and to be honest, you could use any main level in this game to do what I did. Add a boss fight here and there, which aren't really difficult, or add a different usage of the motion controls and pointing controls in there, but the method is the same. The method will always be the same. Let's talk about level design then. The platforming in this game is honestly almost perfection in its design. It's not too challenging, if I'm honest. I think this is one of the more middle-of-the-road Mario games in terms of difficulty, but that isn't a negative, just something I wanted to share out there. It's not really a hard game to get into, if that's what worries you in a Mario game. Regardless of challenge, the platforming is very well paced. At first, you perform platforming in safe areas, maybe even with 1-ups here and there in case you die somehow. Later down the levels and different galaxies, the platforming gets more challenging. It becomes a bit more of a do or lose health situation. Not do or die, yet, which is nice and helpful to the player, and it fits Mario, to be honest. You know, Mario's easy and a bit handholdy at times, so this makes sense. It doesn't punish you too hard for failing. Looking at you, Rainbow Ride. Platforming here is very precise. In the previous 3D games, sometimes platforming could feel a bit stiff. Mario's movement and control wasn't really good for precision jumping, which is why I assumed FLUDD was so handy in platforming sections, to correct those jumps that could be hindered by improper control, which makes the sections harder, which is sort of the point, but they are still harder than the FLUDD platforming. It's very noticeable. In Galaxy, however, this difficulty increases gradually and seamlessly. The platforming provides the player with enough challenge for it to feel satisfactory, but not enough unfair difficulty to make it, well, unfair. Not to mention, Mario's control is honestly amazing in this game, as I talked earlier, as well as the spin attack mid-air giving you some extra height and more control to fix missed jumps. It's kind of like a pseudo double jump, if you will, without it being a double jump. Platforming flows wonderfully, mostly taking advantage of the planetoid level design and anti-gravity to make crazy, wacky platforming that honestly is very well designed. I know for most it's just jump here, jump there, but there's actually a lot related to platforming. The degree of satisfaction, the sense of control, the ability to pick up speed and not fail, the idea of pulling certain tricks and jumps to perform a stunning jump. There is a lot to this, and I wish I could go even more in depth, but I'm not really good with words, I'm not really the guy to do so. I do feel, however, that I can tell you, and you can trust me when I say, this is the best 3D platforming Mario has had at the time of Galaxy's release, and it's definitely one of the most unique games in terms of the genre, as well as one of the best designed in the genre. Outside of difficulty and control, the platforming also provides different pathways at times. They aren't particularly obvious, but there are different ways of doing things in this game with the moveset you are provided, as well as using the anti-gravity mechanic to the player's advantage. You can do some really good cheese in this game. This fuels the idea I mentioned earlier, and these tricks and different ways, they're actually very easy to execute once you figure it out, which makes the player feel this great sense of control, this great sense of accomplishment. Instead of jumping to the obvious easy platform, you could backflip, wall jump and spin to get even higher, all thanks to your own skill set and moveset. You did it. Congratulations, you did it. That was you. You broke the game, but in a very good way. Honestly, Mario Galaxy's impact in the world of Mario platforming, and platforming in general, is honestly amazing. The idea and execution of mixing the two Mario genres in a balanced, excellent, interesting, unique way, and the idea of using anti-gravity, a mechanic that has shown controversial results in the past, it goes to show how control can be obtained during such a mechanic, how the player can do their own stuff during such a mechanic in a linear game even, how platforming can evolve, how platforming can change in a single level, how platforming can have several ways of being achieved, how it can reward casual and more seasoned players by just giving choice, by giving different ideas and different ways to execute a level. That's how Super Mario Galaxy's platforming impacted the Mario franchise, and the genre as a whole. Well then, I spent a while on the level design itself, but let's talk how you even get to these levels. I understand the subheading might throw you off, level progression. The fuck you talked about getting stars and going through a level already? Move on, stop wasting time. And that's a very fair comment, you know? But, before that, let me explain what I mean by level progression. Although I kinda just did. But yeah, let me explain. With level progression, I refer to the idea of getting from the start of the game to the end of the game, rather than inside a single galaxy. The idea of even getting to these galaxies in the first place. The idea of unlocking different stages of levels. The idea of extra levels. The idea of exploring the Hubworld. You know, that sort of thing. So, after this little storybook introduction and the traversal of the Star Festival, you get bombarded by Bowser, like usual. After some tutorials in regards to controlling Mario, which I have talked about already at the beginning, and getting the first Grand Star, you are taken to the Comet Observatory. Before that, however, a Grand Star acts like a castle key in Super Mario 64. The Grand Star will fill the Comet Observatory and unlock different stages in this hub-world until every area is accessible. At that point, to finish the game, you require 60 stars to fight the final boss. A nice in-between 64-70 and Sunshine's 50. Let's go back though, let's talk about the typical baby classic good old stars. Like the original 3D Mario game, Mario Galaxy goes for the approach of star collection. Get enough stars, finish the game, 100% the game, and you get a reward, which I will get into in a little bit. Mario 64 had the idea of collecting any star in any level as the core of its level progression. Very few stars were actually blocked by another star. Something like Bob on Battlefield allowed for almost every star to be collected from the get-go, except for a few that needed a previous star to be collected, such as Koopa the Quick. For him to spawn, the first star had to be completed. But even then you don't need to get all 7 stars, the 7th one being collected by getting 100 coins in the level. Get 70 stars, where you get them is up to you. Just get them. Mario Sunshine looked at this concept and said, "Lol, no," and ditched this idea as a whole. In Mario Sunshine there are 6 main levels compared to the previous game's 15 levels. To finish Mario Sunshine you get the 7 shines in each of the 6 levels, and you're done. You can't get a different shine from the one you selected, by the way. It's not like 64 or Galaxy where the world changes for it to actually spawn the shine. For a lot of the shines, linearity is a huge limitation. There's no reason why this is so linear. I understand you have to beat Shadow Mario, but this should have been handled very differently. Linearity hurts the progression and is a severe downgrade from 64, given how choice is almost removed from the player. And exploring is kind of worthless actually. In 64, if you don't like a stage, you can just avoid it and get stars elsewhere. You have special stages, the slides, the 100 coin stars, fully completing another stage, catching this stupid Meeps bunny. In Sunshine there are extra stars as well, the pachinko machine, 100 coin stars, which also suck, because they can only be done in certain missions instead of any mission, like in 64. There is no point of exploring the very diverse and fleshed out Hubworld in Mario Sunshine outside of 100% completion. Well, that's not entirely true. You do need 50 shines to beat the game, but 42 out of these 50 must come from the 7 shines in these 6 stages, reducing exploration heavily compared to 64's 70 stars. Where does Galaxy come into play? Well, Galaxy takes the Chad Mario 64 approach and decides to let the player choose what stages to tackle. Each galaxy has several stars. Each star has a designed portion in the galaxy, leading you down the linear or exploring paths I mentioned earlier, yada yada yada, you understand now. It's 45 minutes into the video, you know. The reason why the missions being specific to each star in Galaxy is not a problem compared to Sunshine is the fact that each mission in Galaxy will have you do something linear, but it is something different from the linearity. Every area you traverse is different. You can't do mission 3 while on mission 1 because the areas are completely different. There's no way of getting there, you just can't get there, which I understand if it's a problem for some, but the linearity is the way this game is designed. It doesn't clash with the 64 or Sunshine approach. In Sunshine, you absolutely can reach the red coins area, but the coins aren't there! For no good reason, they just aren't there! Anyway, after getting 8 stars, nice Mario 64 callback by the way, I like it, you fight the area's boss, which is like fighting the different Bowsers in 64 or Shadow Mario in Sunshine. Difference here is Galaxy actually has a different boss every time you fight one. It's not Bowser but harder or Shadow Mario but... I don't really know if he's more difficult or not every time you fight him. But I actually don't know. Each boss fight is different, regardless of it switching between Bowser Jr. and Bowser. Well, except for Bowser, Bowser is the same fight 3 times, but harder. So... halfway there. The game meets you halfway there. Bowser Jr. fights change. Not Bowser, but Bowser Jr. does change, which is cool. After defeating Bowser Jr. or Bowser, depending on the area, a new area is unlocked in the Hubworld. If you allow me, and even if you don't, I'll do it anyway. It's in the script. So, sorry. I'll talk about the Hubworld a little bit. The Comet Observatory. The Comet Observatory is Rosalina and the Luma's ship. They use it for traversal through the universe and they were hit when the Bowsman attacked and took the Grand Stars for his galaxy generator. You get to explore the observatory in its entirety, whether it's powered up or it's not. The difference is you won't be able to access the different areas that contain levels if the observatory does not have enough power. Let's take the very beginning of the game for this. You are presented with the only area you can access, kind of like the only door you could open back in Mario 64. These two areas lead you to your first level ever, and to explain how to transition into these levels. In Galaxy, however, inside each area you also find a threshold to overcome with a star count, like the castle in Mario 64. So I guess you can say each room in the Comet Observatory is like a castle floor in Mario 64. Kinda? The reason why I only mention Mario 64 and not Sunshine is because Sunshine sucks. The reason is because Sunshine's Hubworld allows you to travel to different levels once you meet certain shine bigger thresholds, given how there are only 6 main levels. Plus, Delfino Plaza is far bigger than Mario 64's castle or the Comet Observatory. So I think that Mario 64's castle is a better comparison to Mario Galaxy's Comet Observatory. Speaking of which, I wondered a lot while playing Galaxy which Hubworld was bigger between Galaxy and 64. 64's castle floors are big on their own, particularly the upper floor, you know where Total Mountain is. But Galaxy's proportions are mostly one floor and smaller rooms up top. I would argue Galaxy's is bigger, but in a more condensed area, but to be honest I really can't tell. And I don't know how to model, so I can't really, check it out by myself. So if anyone knows, please let me know down below. I couldn't find anything on my research, and by research I mean Google. Anyway, the Comet Observatory has 5 main level areas that lead you into more levels once inside. Each one of these 5 areas is unlocked once you defeat the boss level and gain a Grand Star. You unlock a later 6th area with a few levels. That's where you unlock the Flying Star, which I will talk about later. The progress you make during the game is very telling too, very flashy and very satisfactory. Sure, Mario toying with a key is nice and all, but to see the whole observatory lighting up as new areas are powered up, the Luma cheering, the floor flashing, everything is back online. It's beautiful to showcase that progress. It's very, very good. I can't even remember what Sunshine does to showcase progress between areas, but this is definitely great. It gets the happy juices in the brain going, There is more to do in the Comet Observatory than just going between 5 areas, however. I will admit, there isn't a lot to do here other than talking to the different characters you either rescue or leave in the Comet Observatory itself. I think the most unique thing this Hubworld brings is the library, where Rosalina reads her backstory, which I talked about in the beginning. Yeah, getting extra fun quirky levels is good and all, but outside of levels there isn't much else to do. Nonetheless, this place is beautiful. It's so relaxing, it's so entertaining to jump from wherever you want. It's so cool to run around and see the progress you have made so far. I will admit personally it's very, very entertaining to just jump from wherever and just YOLO, because you can't actually die in this Hubworld. So it's very funny to just jump and see where you can go. After a while, you gain the Flying Star, which allows you to fly. Crazy concept, huh? There aren't many places you can go to, that's why I didn't mention it in the Powerups section. It's only used in the Hubworld and one level. It's kind of worthless, but it's really nice to fly over the spaceship. Overall, the Comet Observatory is Mario 64's castle, but more. It allows for a little bit more of interaction with characters, albeit it's very, very basic interaction. It allows you for clearer progress detail, and it's how a Hubworld should be done. Condensed, simple, with choice, but detailed in its simplicity. At least for Mario anyway. This won't take long, but I wanted to mention it regardless. The game rewards the player if they go out of their way to complete the game in its entirety. How do you do this though? I haven't really touched on star bits, I think, so let me do that real quick. Star bits are like coins in Mario 64, or to bring a better comparison, those dreaded blue coins in Mario Sunshine. The difference, and let's be honest, massive improvement with star bits is that they are easy to collect with the Wii pointer. They are everywhere. They are so available that they replace coins, except for coins actually healing you in the game, but other than that they are actually more important than coins. So why collect these star bits, you might be wondering? To unlock extra levels outside of the main areas I explained, and even then, some of the secret stars I mentioned are actually unlocked with these hungry Lumas. You see this pink chunkler of a Luma? He's beefy. Feed them. Yeah, actually feed them what they need, and they shall build a whole new level for you. Or a whole new section of the level if you are already playing inside a level and they are like a secret star requirement. The star bits are really simple collectible. It really doesn't take too much time to get, yet you want to get them. They will make you progress. After getting into your first bull level, you will rescue Luigi, and after that Luigi will help you get stars, and you have to rescue him to get these stars. Once you do, once you get every green star, well, you unlock 3 more levels on a planetoid next to the Comet Observatory that you get through this green launcher star. And after all this, you get the best message ever seen in a video game.
Super Luigi Galaxy!
To be honest, after this is just play the same exact game, but as Luigi. The difference is Luigi himself, because he's unique and precious. His jump is higher than Mario's, and his traction is worse, just like the Luigi we always have known and loved. The reward isn't huge or anything, to be completely honest. I think it's better than 100 lives or a postcard, but that's up to you. And even then, when you do finish the game with Luigi, you just get a stroll through the Star Festival, which, I know it isn't huge, but it isn't exactly difficult to obtain everything, so it's not exactly a bad thing, it's just really underwhelming. However, there is something very important here. Mario Galaxy brought Luigi back. They brought Luigi back into the main platforming series. He didn't know the 3D love of the platformer. He had love in his own series, which is mentioned, and the RPG series, but the main series ditched him. He never was in a 3D game, so Galaxy is the first 3D Mario game to acknowledge him, which I think is very, very, very cool. Yeah, you just know I had to give the music its own section. For the first time in the franchise, the soundtrack is fully orchestrated, never done before, probably due to technical limitations, but we're on the Wii now, baby, and oh god, this soundtrack is a masterpiece. I won't go into how it's composed and whatnot, because I actually have no clue how music is made. I'm a YouTuber, not a musician, but the soundtrack is honestly incredible. Whenever it wants to portray exploration, it does it. When it wants to portray adventurousness, it does it. When it wants to be mysterious or calm, it does it. And when it wants to be climactic, believe me, it does it. Mario Galaxy's soundtrack is one of the most praised soundtracks of all time, and for very good reason. It has every single mood you can imagine, it's composed extremely well. It's fitting both in terms of the grand galaxy adventure you go into, and each level on its own. Also, it can be very emotional. It's honestly one of my favorite soundtracks ever, and very well deserved. Looking even beyond the soundtrack itself, the music in the game is definitely impactful in terms of Mario. Music in the previous games is great and fits each environment very well, but from Galaxy onwards the music seems more unique, more bombastic, more in your face, and definitely more diverse. Something like Super Mario 3D World, for example. Yeah, you can argue that you got your basic beach aesthetics, but even the music is so unique in this. It's so jazzy, it gets you dancing, you know? And I think this shift in composition, this shift in music in general for the franchise, this is definitely thanks to Galaxy. Galaxy introduced this elaborate instrumentation that definitely improves the experience. It makes it more memorable, it makes it more grandiose, more impactful. After all I have talked about, I think it's telling that Mario Galaxy is definitely a beast of its own. A beast that shines more than others in its own franchise, and in platforming in general. Controls, aesthetics, level design, music, it all stands out even to this day. It's incredibly well made, it's very entertaining. I think Mario Galaxy definitely changed platforming in general with its core design, with its crazy wacky aesthetics, with its amazing soundtrack. And Nintendo clearly knew Galaxy would land such a mind-blowing hit. 3 years later, Galaxy got a sequel. The only 3D Mario game that got a direct sequel. Sure, 3D World is sort of a sequel to 3D Land, but it's not 3D Land 2. So I would say Galaxy is the only game to have a direct, straight-up sequel with a 2. Galaxy's impact is seen to this day, not only through Nintendo, but through platformers in general. particularly visuals and music choices, as well as anti-gravity, to be honest. This mechanic is seen more and more since the days of Galaxy, which definitely speaks to how well the mechanic works in this game. I know it's not the same thing, it definitely is not, and I'm not saying this is thanks to Galaxy exclusively, because anti-gravity was a mechanic before Galaxy, anti-gravity does exist before it. It was a bit clunky though, so I don't know. But something like Crash Bandicoot 4 and their anti-gravity mechanic, it definitely is not the same as Galaxy, don't get me wrong. But even today, we see this feature in platformers, and I believe Mario Galaxy influenced this rise of anti-gravity mechanics. You can call it a stretch, and that's perfectly fine to be honest. So let's talk about Mario as a whole. You cannot deny Galaxy didn't matter for Mario. It keeps getting referenced. Rosalina became a mainstay for the series. It's one of the big 3D games re-released for the Switch. Super Mario Galaxy achieved a lot at the time, and its impact is very visible, even today. Super Mario Galaxy broke the barriers of platforming, took on the great beyond, and transformed it into one of the best experiences in gaming. If I may go off script for a second there, this video has been quite the insanity to make, if I'm honest. It's the first time I made a video this long, and sure, I had experience with a Melee critic, but I feel like this script, first off, it's very different from Melee, because the whole idea changed. At first I was going to talk about Mario Galaxy's impact as a whole, which I think you can see in the remnants of the script, but it turned out into an analysis of the game itself, and I'm very happy it did, because this is the happiest I've ever been talking about a game. My favorite game ever is Mario Galaxy 2, but I can't deny that this game was far more important than Galaxy 2, so I wanted to talk about Galaxy 1. Because outside of importance, outside of impact, this game is actually really amazing. The platforming is so good. It's not just squares. The platforming being with the planetoid design, it's very not only unique, but it's actually really good. It's very well paced, it's very well controlled, it's fair, it's entertaining to do. Like, I know it's hard to explain how platforming is good, but I hope the footage itself also shows it. Like, outside of me talking, I hope the footage on screen helps to make people understand what you do in this game, if you haven't played it in like 14 years. But this game is amazing. This game is really incredible in every sense of the word. Even in something like the story, like, I know Mario games don't have a story. Story is very simplistic in Mario games, I get that, and that's perfectly fine. But even Galaxy 2 being my favorite game ever, it just didn't care about the story. Like, this game establishes Rosalina, it gives her the backstory, it gives the impact of the universe. And Mario Galaxy 2 is like, haha, no. Which was a bit disappointing to see in hindsight. Like, I played Galaxy and Galaxy 2 back to back before even coming up with the idea for this video. And seeing that was a bit disappointing. It was really cool to see how the platforming evolved and continued and the new ideas Galaxy 2 brought, but I can't deny Galaxy 1 matters far more than Galaxy 2. I don't know which one's best, like, I don't know which one's the better game, I don't know. That's why I replayed them both, and I still can't tell you. Both are amazing, but I can definitely see why Galaxy 1 has more value than Galaxy 2. And most of it comes because it made it it was the first hit, it was the first impression. It made it first, it started from scratch. And honestly, for starting from scratch, like, sure, they got bases in 64 and Sunshine, but when you play 64, Sunshine and Galaxy back to back like I did for this video, you see footage in 64 and Sunshine, you can tell Galaxy is totally different from those two, as well as taking core features from those two. It made the mix, that's what I said earlier, it made such a huge mix between 2D, 3D, and such a new thing. It just, I'm amazed at how well this game is. This game, and I can't even talk, it's been an hour, I can't talk properly, I'm sorry. But it's really amazing how this game turned out. 14 years later, and this game's still one of, if not the best Mario game, and one of the best platformers out there. So please, if you have the chance, play this, please. If you have the chance, play this. Thank you so much for watching this video of, to be honest, unknown length. What is it, 1 hour? 1 hour, 2 minutes? 1 hour, 1 minute? Something like that? Yeah, something along those lines. It was an amazing experience to make. It was my second scripted video ever. The first being a critique of Melee, which you can check out later. As I said earlier, I love Super Mario Galaxy. I'm more of a Galaxy 2 guy, but I love the original regardless. And I could talk this game... I could just talk about this game forever. It's honestly incredible. Please, again, please play it. And while you play it, you should subscribe to the channel, you know. The red button down there, please. Thank you for watching, I will see you very soon. Stay safe, and bye-bye!